Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of J-Fabe Wrestling. This time we're going to be rebooking WrestleMania 20 where it all begins again. And WrestleMania 20, it had some great moments, I can't lie. Chris Benoit winning the World Heavyweight Championship and Eddie Guerrero, retaining the WWE Championship. At the time, it was a great moment when they hugged it at the end of the show. Obviously, what Chris Benoit did kind of tarnishes that moment, but it was still, at the time, a great moment. You also had the return of the Dead Man, The Undertaker, which was pretty cool. And you also had the mess that was Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar. They were both leaving the company the next day. Steve Austin was the referee. He stunned them both out the WWE. And funny enough, they both came back many years later. Also, you had the rise of John Cena. He became U.S. champion. And also the rise of Evolution, specifically Randy Orton. He was able to, get the win over the Rock and Sock Connection. So that was pretty cool. But it was definitely a long and kind of bloated show. They had tag team matches, the Cruiserweight Open. So there was 12 matches on the card in total. And yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of talent back then. So I kind of understood why, you try to get everyone on the card. So yeah. So let's get into it. So this was the actual card of WrestleMania 20. You had John Cena versus The Big Show for the U.S. Championship. You got RVD and Booker T defending the World Tag Team Championship against Garrison Cade, Mark Jindrak, the Dudley Boyz, and La Resistance. You got Christian defeating Chris Jericho. You got Evolution defeating the Rock and Sock Connection. Tori Wilson and Sable defeating Mitch Jackie and Stacy Keibler in a Playboy evening gown match. You got Chavo Guerrero defending in the Cruiserweight Open against Akio, Billy Kidman, Funaki, Jamie Noble, Nunzio, Rey Mysterio, Shannon Moore, and Ultimo Dragon. You got Goldberg defeating Brock Lesnar. You got Too Cool defending against the World's Greatest Tag Team, the Basham Brothers, and the Acolytes. The Women's Championship, Victoria versus Molly Holly, and if Molly lost, she'll get shaved bald. Then we got the WWE Championship, Eddie Guerrero defending against Kurt Angle. And then we got The Undertaker returning against his brother Kane. And in the main event, we have triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship, Triple H versus Chris Benoit and Shawn Michaels. Alright guys, so now let's get into my card. So the first match will be for the Cruiserweight Championship, Chavo Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. So yeah, just keeping it simple here. I think sometimes less is more, and they had a great match at No Way Out. I would just save that match, for WrestleMania. They also had a really good match at the Great American Bash that year. But yeah, you save this match at WrestleMania. You have Chavo Classic, and I forgot who Rey's trainer was, but he was also a part of the feud. And yeah, you can have Chavo say, I'm a Guerrero, so I'm the best luchador. And Rey Mysterio can say you're jealous of me because I'm better than you. So yeah, they can kind of go that route. And Rey was the champion coming in, but I'd actually have Chavo get the win here. Just like kind of what happened in the Cruiserweight Open, Chavo Classic can help his nephew get the win. And yeah, give them 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It'll be a great match for sure. All right, next up we got the Women's Championship match. I'd have Lita versus Trish Stratus. So this is how I would have it. I'd have Lita defeat was it Molly Holly at Survivor Series, so she's the champion. And yeah, you can have this whole angle with Chris Jericho and Christian, the battle of the sexes and all that. And yeah, from there, it'll just be a friendly competition, between the two, because they're obviously good friends. So Trish says, I want to challenge you at WrestleMania. And yeah, I think it would be, good match. Obviously, this match was supposed to happen at WrestleMania 21, but due to injuries, it didn't happen. So I'm going to make sure we get a Trish Lita match at WrestleMania. So I'm going to have that at WrestleMania 20. And I'd actually have Lita retain. And that's when Trish would turn heel on Lita. And, they could set up their great rivalry they had in 2004. All right, next up, we got the WWE Tag Team Championship match. We have the world's greatest tag team defending against Paul London and Billy Kidman. So this would be a straight-up tag match. And yeah, I think this would be a really good match. Kind of similar to the world's greatest tag team versus Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio at Vengeance 03. I think they'll have another great match here. And during the build, you can have Paul London, trying to prove himself to Billy Kidman that, that he can be a great tag team partner and that, they can defeat the world's greatest tag team. So, and yeah, you can have the world's greatest tag team kind of mock the two and say, oh, you guys are nothing, we're the best, we're great wrestlers, we're always better than high flyers. So you can kind of have that build going on here. And I actually would have Paul London and Billy Kidman get the win. And again, I think this would be a really good match if you give them at least 10 minutes. And yeah, World's Greatest Tag Team, we're breaking up anyways due to the draft. So, have them put over, the new team, Paul London and Billy Kidman, in a really solid match. All right. Next up, we got the World Tag Team Championship match. We got Evolution defending against Booker T and RVD. And the Dudley Boyz and Chris Jericho and Christian. So yeah, I know I wasn't a big fan of the Fatal 4-Way tag matches that actually happened, but I feel like this will have more star power. You have Evolution and you have Chris Jericho and Christian rather than, La Resistance and was it Ginger and Cade. So yeah, Evolution, they were the champions, I believe, after Armageddon, so I'd have them hold it here. And then obviously Booker T and RVD, they've been having issues with Evolution. And the Dudley Boyz, they fought Evolution at Royal Rumble and they lost, so they still got issues. And then Jericho and Christian as well, you could add them in here saying, we deserve a shot. And yeah, you could have tension actually between Jericho and Christian coming into this match. So I would actually have Evolution get the win. We could have, RVD hit the frog splash on Christian, but Ric Flair makes like a blind tag and he gets the win, and that's where I'd actually have Christian turn on Chris Jericho, and it sets up their great rivalry in 2004. Yeah, I just think it would be a better match. Obviously, with 8 people in the match, it's going to be a little bit of a cluster, but I think with better talent, it'd be definitely a better match. All right, next up, we got the United States Championship, the Big Show defending against John Cena. I would keep everything the same, keep the build the same, keep, John Cena's freestyle rap before the match the same, and keep the result the same. I think it was cool. I guess the only thing I would want to change is have Cena not do the FU on the Big Show beforehand. I know he did it at Survivor Series, but if he wasn't able to do it, and he tried to, but he kept, he couldn't, he kept getting, overwhelmed by Big Show's weight. That would be pretty cool to have the build where Big Show says, you can't FU me, and then at WrestleMania, he's able to do it for the first time. I think that would make the match a little more special, but it was a solid match, and definitely a much-needed match for John Cena, to get him to the next level. All right, next up, we got the Intercontinental Championship match. Randy Orton defending against Mick Foley. So, yeah, we'll keep this all the same. The build, I know The Rock, obviously, he entered into the feud along with Evolution. But I'll just have them, just stick to the singles match here. It was a great build. Randy kicking Foley off the steps. Randy spitting on him. Mick Foley coming back at the Royal Rumble, eliminating him. So, yeah, Mick Foley can set the challenge to Randy. And, yeah, they'll have a good match. And I'd give Randy the win. And then this can lead to their rematch at Backlash, which was an epic match. Alright, guys, next up is Kurt Angle versus Kane. I know this match did happen at WrestleMania 18, but like I said, my rebooking is based on the previous rebookings, and you could just go simple here. The Big Red Machine versus the Olympic Machine. You could start it at the Royal Rumble because Kurt dedicated winning the Royal Rumble for the troops, and he can eliminate Kane, and Kane can come back and eliminate him and chokeslam him through a table, and Kurt can say, he's been through the Olympics, he ain't scared of no monster, and Kane can say, that's what's wrong with America, you got arrogant people like Kurt Angle thinking they're better than people, and that he's gonna show him he's the man, and he's a true monster. So yeah, I think it'll be a good solid match. All right, next up, we got some inter-promotional matches. We got Kurt Angle from SmackDown fighting Kane. I know in real history they did fight at WrestleMania 18, but obviously, like I said before, this is all these rebookings are in my world, so the previous WrestleMania I rebooked has happened, so they never fought before. I think it'll be good. I have something better for Undertaker to do, and also I have someone else in the title match. That's why Kurt Angle has kind of nothing to do, but it'll still be a good match. It'll be, the Wrestling Machine versus the Big Red Machine. And you could probably have this play out at the Rumble with Kurt Angle eliminating Kane, and then Kane coming back and eliminating Kurt Angle and all that. All right, next up, we got special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. We got Paul Heyman versus Eric Bischoff. Yes, I know. This is kind of like a fluff match, obviously. Not great work rate, but I think it'd be pretty cool to get the owner of ECW versus, the person who is running WCW. I think that'd be really cool with Austin. Obviously, he has history with both. He wants to be special guest referee. Obviously, he got fired by Eric Bischoff. He also worked for Paul Heyman, helped kind of rejuvenate his career. So, yeah, and you could probably have Paul Heyman win after Eric Bischoff. He kind of he's winning the match. Like he's beating down Heyman. He gets a little cocky, and Austin doesn't like it. Austin hits him with a stunner. Heyman gets the win. Him and Heyman are celebrating, drinking beers, and then Austin stuns Heyman, and Vince will come out and he'd be happy. He's like, "Yeah, you're not WCW or ECW, you're WWF or WWE." And then they told us, and then that's when Austin stuns Vince. So Austin stuns the three owners of the big companies, which would be pretty cool WrestleMania moment. All right, next up, we got The Undertaker versus Goldberg. And no, this is not Super Showdown 2018 or wherever they fought. I don't even remember. All I know is they fought at a Saudi show, and it was not good. But, this will be like over 10 years earlier, so I'm hoping it'll be better. Hopefully Goldberg doesn't, botch the jackhammer or whatever. But, yeah, this would be a good match, I think. So, yeah, I'm playing a little bit with history here. After Undertaker loses to Brock, I just have him go away. I wouldn't have Kane bury him because that would obviously Kane would need to fight Undertaker. But I want Undertaker to do something different, just because the Kane match wasn't that good, and we've seen it before. I like to have new matches at WrestleMania, So Undertaker could be gone for a while, and Goldberg says, "I have nothing to do at WrestleMania, but there is one person on my mind, and that's The Undertaker." He challenges The Undertaker to a match. And, and that's when the Undertaker mind games come. The gong plays, so we're like, oh, the dead man is coming back. And, on the Titantron, it'll be like, "I accept, Goldberg, you'll rest in peace," and all that. So, yeah, and this is when you have Goldberg Goldberg's last match, so it's okay for him to lose. And the Undertaker, obviously, he returns as the Dead Man with Paul Bearer, have the same entrance and everything. And yeah, you can give these guys 10 to 12 minutes. You know, it'll be a really good, solid match. Undertaker gets the win. And yeah, goodbye, Goldberg. All right, next up, we got the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, versus the People's Champ, The Rock. Yes, what a dream match this would be. Obviously, there may have been some issues backstage with The Rock not wanting to fight Shawn because Shawn was being rude to his mom, I believe during a show or something like that. But yeah, you know, in my road, forget the politics, you know. And yeah, this is the one other dream match we couldn't get. So during The Rock's rise, obviously, Shawn was injured. And when Shawn came back, The Rock was kind of going for Hollywood. And this was like the one chance you could have did it, or WrestleMania 19. But I feel like this was a better chance. And The Rock, he wasn't really needed in the Mick Foley feud. You know, that was more between Randy and Mick. He was just added. But I feel, and Shawn too, he wasn't needed in the Chris Benoit Triple H feud. He was kind of just added. So have them just go at it here. Obviously, the real life issues may have caused a role, but again, that's not a factor in my world. So yeah, I think this would just be a great match. You know, give them 20 minutes, and I'd actually have Shawn get the win here just because he's staying. You could have Rock go for the people's elbow, and right when he's about to do it, Shawn nips up, hits the Sweet Chin music. I think that'll be a cool way to finish. After the match, they can celebrate. And yeah, The Rock's on his way out. We don't see The Rock for another, was it 8 years till he wrestles again at WrestleMania. So yeah, I think it'll be a nice epic match. And yeah. All right, next up, we got the semi-main event, the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero. So, honestly, the No Way Out match was so good. I just said, let's just have it at WrestleMania. Why not? You know, WrestleMania is where superstars, you know, reach the pinnacle. And I think Eddie Guerrero deserved that WrestleMania moment. And it was cool, you know, for him to retain against Kurt Angle. But I feel like if we had the Eddie win here at WrestleMania, I mean, it'd just be even more epic. And, you know, it got me thinking about what happened later was Cena and Batista. They both won. And I think it would have been cool if Eddie and Benoit here both won. And, yeah, just add a little more sizzle to the amazing moment at No Way Out. Don't get me wrong, that moment at No Way Out was one of my all-time favorite moments. And yeah, you can have the same match here just without Goldberg, I guess. Eddie, yeah, hits the DDT on the championship belt, and he goes for the frog splash, and he gets the amazing win. And then later on, you could have Benoit and Eddie, you know, celebrating. Eddie said, "We're not done yet. It's your turn now." And I think it'd be a great moment. So, yes. All right, now we're at the main event of the evening, the World Heavyweight Championship. Triple H defending against Chris Benoit. Same build here. Chris Benoit wins the Royal Rumble. He moves over to Raw, challenges Triple H. You could have Triple H and Ric Flair, you know, kind of downgrade Benoit, say, you're the greatest technical wrestler, but you'll never win the big one. And Benoit's, you know, he's going to say he's going to prove people wrong like Triple H and prove that, you know, he is a world champion. He will win the big one, and his dreams will come true at WrestleMania. So you can have the build kind of like that, have some evolution beatdowns here and there. You could have Benoit, you know, defeat Ric Flair in the go-home show and get him to tap out. So, yeah, I think it'd be, again, good match. They had great matches, actually, in 2000. And even their Vengeance match was pretty good. Obviously, you had the Eugene stuff. But here, you know, no shenanigans, straight up one-on-one. Triple H goes for the pedigree. Benoit counters into the crossface. Triple H tries to roll over, but he goes into the middle of the ring and he has no choice but to tap out. Benoit gets the win. And obviously Eddie Guerrero comes out. Both of them just winning the World Championships. They hug it out and celebrating confetti. A great moment. Obviously tarnished, but at the time we didn't know that. And yeah. Alright guys, that is my card. Let me know what you think. Let me run down the card right now. So for the Cruiserweight Championship, Chavo Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. For the Women's Championship, Lita versus Trish Stratus. For the WWE Tag Team Championship, the World's Greatest Tag Team versus Paul London and Billy Kidman. For the World Tag Team Championship, Evolution versus Booker T and RVD. Versus the Dudley Boyz versus Chris Jericho and Christian. For the United States Championship, The Big Show versus John Cena. For the Intercontinental Championship, Randy Orton versus Mick Foley. Kurt Angle versus Kane. Paul Heyman versus Eric Bischoff. Special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Undertaker versus Goldberg. Shawn Michaels versus The Rock. For the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero. And for the World Heavyweight Championship, Triple H versus Chris Benoit. Again, guys, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about my card. And yeah, stay tuned for WrestleMania 21. Appreciate it and peace.